Yo, welcome back to the best show in Atlanta. I'm your host, Nigel. Listen, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to the best show in Atlanta. Also, if you can, go on the website at unspokenatlanta.com and get your merch, man. We got different colorways on the hoodies, crew necks, t-shirts, all type of stuff on there, man. So if you can support, man, go to unspokenatlanta.com, check out the Unspoken Atlanta collection, and get your merch today. Enjoy the show.
I think a brand that could branch off into anything is a powerful brand, right? Which is why I'm saying, all right, we might start a podcast, but what if Nigel wanted to get into real estate? Well, Unspoken ATL could be the real estate arm that gives you access to houses that's not on the MLS, right? And so now you become like the concierge person, the person that knows the secrets, that give you the unspoken stuff. So now you could build out a whole line, right? So Unspoken becomes a line of exclusive stuff. Like, yo, you want to get into this party? Yo, you got to contact us. Yo, you want to buy this real estate? All right, you got to do it. You want to know what jobs are hiring? I bet. You know what I'm saying? So now it becomes part of that. And so it becomes an extension of what you're already doing.
Hey, Nigel. Did too hard, bruh.
Super honored, man. Shout out Nigel. Shout out everybody here. Shout out Unspoken. We in the A.
Shout out to my boy Jeter. That's what we drinking on, Jeter Readers. Make sure y'all get y'all some Jeter Reader, man. Hit my boy up. For real. All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Unspoken Atlanta podcast. I'm your host, Nigel Armani, and today, man, we got a very special guest, man. Ash Cash, one of the best entrepreneurs, one of the best storytellers, authors, most selling book author. Yep. So yeah, man, my guy, Ash Cash, how you doing,
brother?
Man?
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Nah, thank
Long
you.
time coming. We supposed to be making it happen. So I'm glad I'm on now.
Everything happened for a reason.
I agree.
That's how I look at it, man. How you doing, man? Tip check.
Yo, I'm good, man. I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? School started.
Yeah.
Kids out the house.
Yeah.
2025 has been a special year, you know. So I don't know. I just feel like there's an energy. Like I don't know what's coming next, but I just feel like there's an energy of like something big, something good is about to happen. So I feel great.
I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Life has been good, man. On my end, blessed, man. Happy to have you here, man. Been these last 3 weeks been very good for me, man. Been able to. I've seen you twice at a podcast summit and at Invest Fest.
Yep.
So I've been able to go there. I guess master is try to take advantage of the opportunities that was given, you know, these last 2 weeks. So I got a lot of information, contacts. Got to see you a couple times and a couple other people. So yeah, man, I've been blessed, man. Everything been good though.
That's good.
But yeah, man, I wanted to I got a lot of questions, bro. Just from the start, man. I know you. I watched a couple podcasts that you've been on with Social Proof and a couple other people in EYL.
Yep.
So I know a little bit of your background as far as like banking and stuff like that, and then getting into becoming an author. I really want to, with this show, we try to give advice and try to like inspire people, but also try to like give people backgrounds. But then at the same time, like originally with this show, we started as a relationship talk.
Yeah.
And then when we made this side, we started talking about entrepreneurship and starting to get into that. A lot of unspoken things going on in Atlanta that's not really talked about.
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, I want to at least go back from the beginning as much as you can, as far as like going into banking and entrepreneurship, but then like transitioning into becoming a author.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I'm just a kid from Harlem, man. I grew up in New York. I'm from Harlem, NYC, home of the Hustlers.
Yeah.
So I kind of grew up. I was raised by hustlers, by drug dealers, to be 100% honest with you. And you know, I've been an entrepreneur all my life, though. So 8 years old, I was packing bags at the local supermarket. 12, selling mixtapes and T-shirts at 125th Street. To helping people fix bikes. I've always just been entrepreneur. In fact, that's how I got the name Ash Cash, because like I was always like trying to figure out how to get money. You know what I'm saying? I think I want to say around like 15, 16 when Joe Biden and all these people did the mass incarceration thing. They wiped the OGs out of the neighborhood. People don't realize like what effect that had to us in the city, because that mass incarceration took out all of our OGs. And I don't glorify the streets at all, but at the same time, there was an order in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, kids, adults. Like there was a respect level. It was like organized chaos, if you will, at the same time. But what ended up happening is when everybody, went to jail, you got kids who it's the Wild Wild West. So a lot of my friends joined gangs. One of my other friends in particular started selling drugs. And he was at 15, like one of the kingpins, if you will, in the neighborhood. So now this is my guy that I grew up with. So I'm watching him get all the girls, get all the money. I said, I want to do that right there. You know what I'm saying? And so I was tempted a little bit to get into the drug dealing stuff and wound up. My sister was she was a assistant manager at Blockbuster Videos at the time.
We don't got them no more.
They don't got those though, but you know what I mean? So she was an assistant manager, and I want to say I was 17 at this time. And I was really considering, hustling. So I told my sister, I'm like, yo, I'm about to go get a pack. Yeah. And, we had an argument. It wasn't a fist fight, but it was heated. Mm-hmm. And she was like, yo, if I could get you a job. She was really focused on my mom. Come on, grew up in a single parent home. Mm-hmm. And so my mom, she worked hard to make sure we didn't have to play the streets or whatever, but it still wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? And so my sister was like, yo, what if, what's mommy going to think, right? She's like, if I get you a job, would you not hustle? I said, I bet, do that. In my mind, I'm thinking, I'm 17, ain't nobody going to give me no job. Long story short, she actually was able to pull a favor, got me a job at Blockbuster. I started at 17. And I think that started the trajectory of who I am today. Mm-hmm. Because through working at Blockbuster, I then was introduced to like different ethnicities, white people, black. Like I knew, obviously I grew up in the hood, so I knew black and Hispanic, but white people I only were like connected to them through authority. Like they were either my teachers or police officers. That's it. Mm-hmm. But now these are the people I'm mainly serving, and I'm having conversations with them. They're telling me about their vacations and how they live, mm-hmm. and I'm like, nah, this sounds different. You know what I'm saying?
I'm used to, yeah.
So this opened up my mind a little bit and just got me to a point of just really just thinking about what life could be beyond the hood. Divinely, one of the, so I wound up getting, becoming an assistant manager at Blockbuster Videos. And one of the other assistant managers was working at Chase Bank at the time as a teller, and she was a assistant manager. And so Chase was hiring. So she was like, yo, they hiring. I was at Blockbuster 2 years at this point. I'm 19 years old. And I interviewed for Chase because in my mind, I said, I'm assistant manager already at Blockbuster. The only thing I could do is store manager. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. So I said, yo, let me just open up and just see where the banking world could take me. Did that at 19 years old. And I did, and it was the rest is history. Did everything in banking from teller, personal banker, private banker, branch manager. I was a CEO of a credit union, one of the youngest CEOs of a credit union. Decided to volunteer to teach financial literacy or whatever, and I fell in love with just teaching people about money. And I was like, yo, that would be so dope if I could just make money doing that. Mm-hmm. Somebody made a suggestion and was like, yo, you should write a book, because if you write a book about how to manage money, you can now get paid to sell your book. You can speak, you can do that. And that's what I did. And so I wrote my first book about 15 years ago, 2009, and the rest is history. Like you said, I've published over 20 books now. I had 7 bestsellers internationally. I have a popular podcast. I speak all over the world, just teaching about money. And all that started through, just through books. Yeah.
What's the difference? What was the difference for you when you was like, all right, I'm gonna do a book versus just doing like a course like what everybody else is doing?
Yeah. So I think what people don't realize though is that you haven't validated yourself if you just go course, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like I give this example all the time, right? It's like 1 million people do credit repair, right? Mm-hmm. And so if there's 1 million people doing credit repair and you come out and you say, yo, I got a credit repair course, like really, what makes you stand out? Like what makes somebody say, yo, I want to rock with you, then rock, you know what I mean? So now it becomes nuanced. Now it's like, you got to be annoying. You got to do these, you got to do lifestyle marketing. You got to show them your life is better. You got to do these things that make you stand out. But what if you were just the authority in it? You know what I'm saying? And so I tell somebody like I have a young lady that I've been consulting, not really consulting, but she's gonna be a client soon. But she focuses on financial literacy and credit repair for women in the nightlife, right?
Mhm.
So what if, right? What if she wrote a book though about how to manage your money working in nightlife? So now she becomes like the authority in that. Now she becomes the person that says, "Yo, if you work in the nightlife and you want to manage money, I don't just do credit repair. I don't just have a course. I actually have a book that could teach you the step by step, right, with the stories and things of that nature, and that's gonna make her stand out." And then now all of the people who work in the nightlife or people who kind of see her as the authority will now come to her for financial literacy stuff. And then now she could sell them credit repair.
Yeah.
Now she could go will and trust. Now she could actually create like affiliates where she could like help them throughout their whole life. So for me, it's been proven that when you write a book, it just makes you the authority, right? Like people know Robert Kiyosaki through Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? You think about Grant Cardone. A lot of people think like Grant Cardone had written like 4 or 5 books before the 10X rule.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until he wrote the 10X rule that it blew him up, because he created a philosophy that made him the authority in success, if you will, right? Tony Robbins, we know who he is because of, all of the books that he put out. Even if you think about Alex Hormozy, right? Alex Hormozy at 31 was worth already $40 million because he sold the gyms. But nobody knew him until he started writing books.
Yeah.
And so there's so many different examples of how a book, it stands the test of time, right? Mm-hmm. Like right now we on Instagram, TikTok. Back in the day, we was on MySpace and Black Planet. Like, so these social media platforms are going to come and go. So if you, like, I know people who are popping on Twitter back in 2012 who are nobodies now, right? Because they built their platform off of another platform. But then when that platform dies and you can't translate that platform to another platform, now you're done. For me, I've been able to last, like, I consider myself like an OG in this financial literacy game because I've been around since 2009. I've seen a lot of dudes come and go, but I'm still mentioned, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still top of the food chain, and I truly, truly believe it's because I'm an author.
Yeah, the authority of you being an author gives you longevity.
1,000%.
And I also seen you did, you were saying that, I think it's on Social Proof, you were saying like the authority is what's getting you on like bigger stages and stuff like that versus like people who, and you kind of gave an example already, like the book kind of like, that's what people know you by.
1,000%.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to think about it, right? I literally have been on every media platform you can think about. Like I'm talking about from Crossover to Black Media. I've been on the Breakfast Club. I've been in Forbes. I've been in the Today Show. I've been in, like, you name it, right? Because and even from a speaking perspective, I've spoken at InvestFest every single year for the last 5 years. I've spoken at Social Proof Podcast, but I've also spoken at Black Enterprise National Entrepreneurship Convention. I've also spoken to lawyers, you know what I'm saying, to a lawyer group sponsored by Walmart. Like, I've also talked at the National Urban League Entrepreneurship Conference. So it opens the door totally, right? I mean, what people don't realize is like there's so many different worlds out there, right? So like, we know this social media world. So a lot of the people who are popular on social media, like we'll say the names and we know them because that's where we live. We live on social media. We live on Instagram. So if somebody got 1 million followers, 500,000 followers, 200,000 followers on Instagram, they popping. But if you take them outside of Instagram, nobody knows them. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't, like I'm talking about even like in Atlanta, like take somebody, I don't care how popular they are. Take your most popular social media influencer and take them to 11 Alive right now. The anchor is not going to know who they are, and if they try to Google them, nothing's going to come up. You know why? Because your Instagram is going to come up and say that you're an internet personality. Take me to 11 Alive right now, and even if they don't know who I am, if they Google me, guess what's going to happen? All my books are going to pop up, right? I'm validated. It's almost like books are almost like, damn, why don't I know you?
Yeah.
Right? Like they feel bad that they don't know you because when they Google me, all my pictures are gonna come up, all my books are gonna come up, Audible's gonna come up, Amazon's gonna come up. Like all of these validated places are gonna come up because I'm an author.
I got you. So pretty much, your advice, everybody depending on, it don't matter what venture you're in, you should put a book. You should add that to your
If you got breath in your body and you are in any type of commerce and you're trying to help, like you should. If you're a dog groomer, if you groom dogs, you should have a book on how to groom dogs, right? Okay. Because again, at the end of the day, I'm making it so like trivial because I need people to understand that, right? Like if you're a dog groomer and you go and you're going to these different neighborhoods trying to get people's business, right? Why would they even deal with you? But imagine if you call somebody and say, "Hey," or I'll give you even one better. Imagine you are a dog groomer and you just wrote a book about how to groom your dog yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Now you have a certain neighborhood that you want to attack, and you say, "You know what? Here's a campaign. I'm gonna mail out a book costs like $2, $3, right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna find a subdivision, and I'm gonna mail one book to all of the people in that subdivision because I know that 90% of them have dogs. Yep. Now, guess what people don't throw away? You don't throw away a book, right? So if I get something in the mail and it's a book, I'm gonna say, "Oh, this is a book." Like I'm not gonna be like magazines, yes, newspapers, yes, but a book, it'd be like, somebody sent me a book. All right, so number one, you got some points. Now, when you open up the book and this person is teaching you how to groom your dog yourself, 9 times out of 10 is gonna be too much for you to do yourself. So everywhere in the book, you're gonna give all your information on how they could groom them themselves, but then also say, if you want help, come contact me. If you have any questions, give me a call, right? If you want a video on it, here's my course, right? Mm-hmm. So now they're going to know, like, and trust you, and they're going to probably try it themselves, right? Mm-hmm. But you'll make some extra money because if they're going to try it themselves, they're going to need your course. If they have any questions, they're going to have to call you and get a membership in order for you to answer any questions that they have, right? But ultimately, if they don't call you and they be like, "All right, you know what? I want this person to come through." Now they're gonna call you to do it, right? Mm-hmm. No other dog groomer is doing that. Yeah. And so you could actually replace that with if you mow lawns. I don't care what you do.
Put a book to it.
Put a book to it.
All right, so I want to go back to when you first started writing books. In your opinion, like, what are some of the biggest challenges you had facing, like when it comes to like writing?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is trying to figure out what people actually want versus what I actually want to teach them, right? Because a lot of people, if they knew my solution, if they knew what I like if my solution made sense to them, they would already be doing it. And so how do I take, all right, this is the information that you want. This is the information I want to teach you. How do I mix it together to still make it palatable to you? So I'll give you a prime example. So like for me, because I grew up in the hood and because I listen to hip hop, I always wanted to teach our community about money. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, all right, if I teach you about credit, if I teach you about money management, if I tell you wills and trusts and all that stuff, you're probably not going to listen because that's not in your radar to start with. Mm-hmm. So I started what I like to call hip hoponomics, where I knew people listen to hip hop already. And so I said, all right, how do I take what they're listening to already and mix it with financial literacy? And it happened in 2017 when Jay-Z put out the 444 album. 20% of that album was him cheating on Beyonce. But because it was the most scandalous, the elevator and all that, everybody focused on that. It was like, yo, he cheated on Beyonce, the elevator. This is why Solange beat him up, blah, blah, whatever.
See if you're going to talk about it.
But 80% of it was, yo, don't go to the strip club, right? Because if you go to the strip club, you should get your credit, like stop throwing money in the air, right? Get your credit right. Yo, stop fighting over the neighborhood you don't own, right? Become a homeowner. He was talking about wills and trusts. He was talking about starting a business, merrily. He was talking about multiple streams of income, merrily eating off of streams, right? Mm-hmm. So he's teaching all that. So I said, you know what? Since this is a popular album, people are listening. All right, let me take his album and let me teach you financial lessons through it. And that was the one thing that took me over the top. And so prior to that, like, my books, that was the hardest part, trying to figure out like, how do I mix the messages? But when, the old folks used to tell us, put the medicine in the candy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to eat the candy anyway, so put the medicine in there. And that's what I decided to do. And so I got a book called The Wake Up Call. That's the 444 book. I did it with rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. I have a book called Hustlenomics, where I take, Nipsey Hussle always talks about vertical integration, right? And so I said, all right, how do I teach that using his lyrics, right? And so I was able to, do a book called Hustlenomics. Nas, a lot of people don't realize that Nas, I think, is a billionaire through investing. You know what I'm saying? He don't talk about his net worth a lot, so you don't really know. If you Google it right now, it says 70 million, but that's impossible because he invested in Ring before Amazon bought it for $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? So I got a book called The Illmatic Investor. So I just been able to, mix what people are listening to already with what I want them to learn and put that together. But in the beginning, when I first started writing books, that was the most difficult part.
Was the publishing part, is that the hardest part for you?
Nah, I mean, I think that's the easiest part, to be honest with you, because I think when I started, it was tough, right? When I started, it was really tough to learn how to publish and things of that nature. But now it's so easy. You got, like all of these different big platforms have now created, their print on demand services. So you have Amazon with Kindle Direct Publishing. You have Ingram Spark. You have all these different platforms that allow you to, put your book on there. You have Spotify, who, owns Find a Way Voices. So now all of your audio books could go everywhere. So I think that's the easiest part. You know what I'm saying? I think the most difficult part is really that connection to the audience, right? Yeah. Because once you get the story out there, like, you can have I know, so I think one of the stats say that there are 11,000 book titles that drop every single day, right? Okay, but people still don't sell no books. So you could publish the book, but how are you going to sell it? You know what I'm saying? So I think the distribution part is easy, but you got to find, how do you connect with your audience? How do you get your audience to really know that you are him, you are her, and have them buy your product?
I think a lot of things, and this piggyback off what you were saying, like when you first look at a book, the first thing that get your attention is the title of it.
Facts, yeah.
In your opinion, can you talk about the importance of like coming up with a title, a good title for a book? I mean, I know it's obviously going to change depending on your brand, but talk about the importance of like getting that title. Yeah,
I would say getting a title is one of the most important things you could do. So I'll use this example. I'll relate it to like social media, for instance, right? A lot of people don't know that if you want your social media to blow up, you have to hook them in the first 3 seconds, right? So when you do something, or when you post something, if you don't hook them in the first 3 seconds, they're gonna go past it. So you got to catch their attention the first 3 seconds, and then the next 20 seconds or so is going to determine whether they keep watching to the end, right? And so as it relates to books, it's the same thing. The title is your first 3 seconds. You got to hook them in the first 3 seconds. And then your subtitle is the rest of the 20 seconds to see if they're going to stay on. So it's like, if I start a reel and say, hey, my name is Ash Cash, and, I'm a 15-year banking executive and I write books, somebody's going to be like, I don't care about that, right? But what if I started the same reel that says, hey, what's up? Look, these are the top 5 reasons why you're not making no money.
Yeah, they're gonna pay attention.
Now they're gonna pay attention, and then now after I say these are the top 5 spots that you serve money, I'm gonna say, look, a majority of people who go into business lose their business after 5 years, blah 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 blah. And if you wait to the end, I'm gonna tell you how you can solve that. But before I do that, my name is Ash Cash, and I do da 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 da. Right? That's like that formula will get you to people watching your stuff, sharing your stuff, saving it all day. Same thing with a book. Your title has to punch somebody in the gut. Like, they have to know immediately, like, this is for me, right? So, for example, I have a book that I wrote about credit. It's called What the FICO, right? And so every time somebody hears that, they automatically know what I'm talking about, right? Because it's like it's a play on WTF. You know what I'm saying? It's witty, it's fun. What the FICO? Okay, bet. Now the subtitle, 12 steps to repairing your credit. So now when somebody reads the title, they're like, what the FICO? Okay, this is about FICO. This is about credit score. And then now this is how it's gonna help you. 12 steps to repairing your credit. And so I think that's where a lot of people miss. I think a lot of people are so hung on the content of the book that they don't realize that even if the content is good, if you don't have a great title, nobody would even know your book is good. They wouldn't even buy it. They're not even going to read it because you think you have time. Like people think they have time to explain. You don't have time to explain.
Yeah, you don't.
Like when you write a book, probably for the first week or two, your friends and family are probably going to like it. You know what I'm saying? Because those are your friends and family. They want to support you, whatever. So you might have sales from there. But after that, you're relying on random people. You're relying on strangers to support you to buy your book. So for me, I always say, forget your friends and family. If nobody knew Nigel at all, I'm talking about like nobody knew you, and you were trying to teach them something, you need to create a title and subtitle that people could be attracted to. Like literally, there are people that have read my books that didn't realize it was my book they were reading. Right? Because I don't lead with me. I don't lead with, buy this Ash Cash book. No, because it's not about Ash Cash. It's about what I know could help you. And so when you buy this book, it's because it can help you with something. So I think people miss that mark by not realizing, like, always put the customers first.
All right, so I do want to get into some branding advice as well. Can you talk about the importance of personal branding for authors, and also being able to integrate the entrepreneurship within that as well?
Yeah, I think personal branding for authors is very important, but it's also very easy. People are so afraid to be themselves that they rather watch other people being successful, being themselves, and try to copy that person and wonder why it's not working. It's working for them because they're being authentic. You know what I'm saying? And so I think from a personal branding perspective, never be afraid to live your truth, because if you are the way you are, there are people who can relate to you the way you want to be related to. So I'll use myself as an example. I think that, a lot of people kind of rock with me because I don't try to sound like I'm from Wall Street. I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I've worn suits and I've changed the way I talk and my vernacular and all that stuff to appease an audience that I was catering to. But if I'm talking to my people, I want you to know, like, I need you to know who I am. I need you to know that I'm from New York. I want you to know that I talk fast. I want you to know that I'm loud, right? I need you to know that from the get, because I don't want you to buy my stuff and then be turned off because I introduce you to one person and then now I gotta be this other person. At all moments, I need you to know that I'm gonna give you 100% me. And if you don't rock with me, I'm cool, because there's going to be somebody else that you can rock with. You get what I'm saying? So I think personal branding, and that's the other piece. I think that we want to get to that person. We want to get to that authentic self fastest, because if you could attract one person who likes who you are, you could attract 1,000, you could attract 1,000,000. What people do, and this is where they lose again when it comes to personal branding, is that they think they need to switch, right, to become somebody else. And when they become that other person, they're going to make all this money. And once they make the money, then they'll have enough cushion to become themselves again. But what they don't realize is by the time you make the money, you've now built a prison for yourself, because you're making this money off of the back of somebody they think you are. And if you ever change that person, nobody's going to like it. And you're going to lose the money anyway. And so when you're first starting out, you might as well just be yourself, be your authentic self, and then figure out how do you, there's a book called 1,000 True Fans. That's literally all you need. All you need is 1,000 true fans. Can you get 1,000 people who know, like, and trust you? Because once you get 1,000 true fans, then the ability to multiply, the ability to keep growing it becomes easier and easier. And then now you become the main voice doing what you do. And then now all of the people that have been looking for you, they will continue to support what you got going on.
I don't. Do you remember the first time we met?
Nah.
It was we had a David Shands had a podcast. Link up. This is maybe about 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I'm looking around. I'm really like seeing like everybody like come together and just looking at everybody's stories. Like everybody kind of doing the same thing. It's more so of like they all have their own like communities.
Yeah.
That would kind of like got me because when I got into the podcast originally, I was doing it just because I love the production side of it. Mm-hmm. But I was trying to figure out like as far as like building it, outside of like putting money behind it and outside of being consistent, it's also about building the community aspect of it and using that, leveraging the community to kind of veer into like merch or trying to sell like other options. How is it like when you guys I kind of know y'all probably mean way more than that time, but just to be able to see the different ways of how everybody make communities, how has that been able to impact you as far as like just camaraderie, but also in your individual?
Yeah, I think the community aspect, I mean, now more than ever is so important. You know what I'm saying? Because when you start thinking about AI now, right? People could get information from anywhere. Yeah. So why would they pay you for information? People don't pay for information no more. What they're paying for is community. What they're paying for is accountability. What they're paying for is being in rooms with like-minded people, right? So like what you mentioned, being with, doing the podcast meetup, that's what it was, right? We were all podcasters doing our own thing individually. And some of us had figured out how to make money from it. Some of us figured out how to get the most views. Some of us figured out certain aspects of podcasting that we all needed. Mm-hmm. And so, I could have continued to, to been a podcaster by myself and all the other podcasters, but by Shan's bringing everybody together, and now we get to share game. Now I can learn. All right, this is how I'm gonna get more views. Mm-hmm. This is how I'm going to make more money, or this is how I'm going to productize what I got going on. So I think for me, right, Unspoken Atlanta, that's one of the unspoken things that I appreciate about Atlanta, was that when I came here from New York, unfortunately, New York is one of those places that, and just like other places, I'm pretty sure there's some of that here in Atlanta too, but people want to see you do well, but not better than them. You know what I'm saying? And so when we hustling and struggling together, everything is all good. Yeah. But if it looked like somebody's about to like have a breakthrough, that's when the support, the shade come in, the lack of support, the pullback, all that stuff starts to happen. And so when I got here to Atlanta, luckily for me, the circles that I was introduced to were all entrepreneurs getting it, but unselfishly we're willing to share the information. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that has been a blessing for me personally, and I've also used that in building my own communities, right? So as I'm building communities, I'm not just trying to build a community where they have to rely on me, right? That's what a lot of people, mentors and gurus and people do, is that they build out these communities and they make the communities dependent on them and their knowledge, almost like a cult, almost like a church, right? Where it's the pastor or the imam, like, is the main person. Mm-hmm. But when you build out a community where it's like, all right, yes, I'm gonna teach you some stuff, but it's also the people that you're gonna connect with within that community that's gonna be your supporters, or gonna be your accountability coaches. Like, that is what creates a long-lasting community, and then also identifying them. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you watch my podcast, Inside the Vault, I call the people who watch Inside the Vault insiders. Yeah. So I say, all my insiders. So now they self-identify. So now, I see somebody be like, I'm an insider. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that's what I call my people who watch the show, right? You think about EYL, right? Like, Earn Your Leisure, their group, EYL University, like, their people called earners. Like, I've literally, like, been places and people run up to me and be like, I'm an earner, I'm an earner. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important that when we're building community, the community has to be, it can't be connected to a person. it has to be connected to a movement, that they're part of the movement, right? So like y'all see I got the AC on, right? So what happened was, this was my logo in the beginning, right? It was Ash Cash with the infinity sign. But I talked so much about abundance, and I have this. It's actually on the back, but it says abundance is your birthright. It's a trademark term that is the core of what I teach. Right? I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what if you believe in God, then all the scriptures say that you're made in the image and likeness of God. So if you're made in the image and likeness of God, and God is infinite possibilities, then you are infinite possibilities. That means you should not be struggling. Right? Abundance is your birthright. Like, God has promised you abundance as soon as you're born, right? And so now what I said was, man, I don't want people just wearing my logo and only, it's not only connected to me. So now this AC stands for Abundance Community. Right? And so if you wear this AC, you are part of the abundance community. You're part of the tribe that believes that abundance is their birthright. Literally, I was at Invest Fest, and I saw a few people with a sweater. It was my sweater that said abundance is your birthright. They had no idea. Yo, I swear, bro, I had this one girl was like walking by me, she didn't know who I was. And I said, oh, that's a dope sweater. She was like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, yo, she don't even know.
That's the best part, though.
It's the best part. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, again, I'm not building it as for me. Yeah. So it say abundance is your birthright. She got the AC on the side. Like, she's rocking something that I created, but I didn't create it for me. I created it for the community as a movement. And that's what happens when something becomes bigger than the person, it becomes a movement, right? Steve Jobs is dead. But guess what? Apple still is Apple because he created a movement. He created something that can live beyond him. And I think that's what we should all be building, a variation of that. And so even within our podcast, there should be a variation of building products and services that live beyond you, right? Unspoken ATL. That's like that to me. When I hear that, I hear the behind the scenes, right? I hear, what's happening, right? So imagine having, Unspoken ATL, all of the history that happens in ATL that people don't talk about.
Nostalgia.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so now you have that. Now you could create, like imagine if you wanted to get into real estate, right? And so I like to do this. I think a brand that could branch off into anything is a powerful brand, right? Which is why I'm saying, all right, we might start a podcast, but what if Nigel wanted to get into real estate? Well, Unspoken ATL could be the real estate arm that gives you access to houses that's not on the MLS, right? And so now you become like the concierge person, the person that knows the secrets, that give you the unspoken stuff. So now you could build out a whole line, right? So Unspoken becomes a line of exclusive stuff. Like, yo, you want to get into this party? Yo, you got to contact us. Yo, you want to buy this real estate? All right, you got to do it. You want to know what jobs are hiring? I bet. You know what I'm saying? So now it becomes part of that. And so it becomes an extension of what you're already doing, right? And so that's when I look at brands, that's what I look at. I look at like how do you put the main message underneath something so that you could create, right, what Nipsey Hussle talks about, vertical integration, right? When people talk about multiple streams of income, a lot of times people think horizontally, like I'm gonna start all of these different businesses horizontally, but Nip said, nah, let's go vertical, which means that if my main thing is hip hop, how can I add all of these businesses vertically into what I'm doing, right? When somebody asks me who I am a financial educator. That's my main thing. And my vertical integration is how do I get that message out? Well, as a financial educator, I write books about financial education. I do podcasts on financial education. I have affiliate programs on financial education. I do interviews on financial education. So everything I do is all vertical, connected to that one thing, but it allows me to create multiple streams of income.
That's dope, man. My next thing I had for you was going back to the podcast, and what got you into podcasting originally?
Yeah.
And then how has that been able to help you expand the brand?
1000%. So I
Shout out to the vault too. Man.
Yeah, appreciate you. So I started. I used to do radio actually in New York, for about 4 years, and I mean, what got me into like the media in general was when I wrote my book. I knew that if I get on magazines, if I get on other people's television shows and radio shows, that's how I could promote what I got going on. There wasn't really a platform like, I mean, I'm talking '09, right? So like '09, there wasn't really a platform. There was like Blog Talk Radio, but people having their own podcasts wasn't like popular. You know what I'm saying? And so if you wanted attention, what you had to do is go to where the attention was. So I used to actually write in a magazine called Don Diva magazine. So I used to write for Don Diva magazine. I used to write for All Hip Hop magazine or allhiphop.com. And that was the way I was trying to get popular. When I started to do, when I got popular, I started to do like Hot 97, WBLS. These were the popular radio stations in New York. Every time I would go, they would invite me back, right? Because I got a certain energy. People, like the audience would love like me talking about money. The way I talk about money was different. So I would get invited back over and over and over again. A young lady, Angela Harden, who was the station manager at the time of a community radio station called WACR, she reached out to me and was like, man, I love hearing you talk. Would you want your own show? And so I think 2014, I did my own show on the community radio station. It was an FM radio station. The reach was like about 2-3 million people. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so for 4 years, from 2014 to 2018, I had the Ash Cash show on the radio. And that's when I started to take the audio and podcasting started to become a thing. I would put it out as a podcast. Fast forward, my family and I was traveling for work a lot. Kids were getting older. My wife was like, you know what, I think we should move, and she's always wanted to move down south. And so we were looking at Charlotte and Atlanta as like two locations. Came to Atlanta and was like, yo, this is where we need to be. Moved down here in 2018, and I sort of like stopped doing a podcast in general because it wasn't really a podcast, it was the radio show because I moved. At the time, I want to say, now comes 2019, a mutual friend connected me with Rashad Bilal from Earn Your Leisure, because Rashad's a hooper, I'm a hooper. And so a mutual friend connected us and was like, yo, he had some questions or whatever. So me and Rashad connected before they launched, the podcast. And we were just talking because he was a financial advisor. I was a financial advisor. He was just, asking questions around, how to maneuver being a financial advisor and giving financial advice or whatever. So we had a great conversation. And then when they launched, when Troy and Rashad and the other, everybody from the team launched the show in 2019, I want to say I was one of the early episodes. I was like episode 26. So I went there and I, kind of like I saw it from the beginning. Like I'm talking about the birth of it. I'm talking about when I pulled up. We pulled up to Troy's house. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was his house or his parents' house. But we were in like a dining room, you know what I'm saying, with tables, and there was no, like, you got fancy equipment. They had none of that. They had 3 iPhones, and I remember vividly because my voice is loud. Yeah. So they had the 3 iPhones, and they had the mixer or whatever, but I kept bleeding the mixer because I was too loud. Yeah. So it was like I seen it from that beginning or whatever. And then fast forward, I think 2020. When COVID started, they had like doubled down on digital, products or whatever. Their podcast started to blow up. And I'm like, man, I want to get back into like podcasting. Yeah. And then they started the network. They had, they had their show. They had started Market Mondays. I think, Matt and Kiana had Rants and Gems. And so I just hit them. I was just like, yo, I want to do this podcast thing, but y'all obviously have figured some things out that I don't know yet. Yeah. So instead of like trying to start it on my own and trying to figure it out, I was like, yo, y'all looking for more people on this network? They was like, hell yeah. So when I launched the show, I launched it on the EYL network, and that's how I got my start. I want to say we dropped the first show in February of 2021. It was me and two other partners. And it was good. It was dope because our first episode was with Candy Burris. You know what I'm saying? And so that was one of the things. We was like, yo, we want to go hard with this. And we launched the podcast. I think I'm gonna say February 2021. And then we just, and I think that because we took the approach of using sort of like the network that they had built already, to teach us some things about podcasting. We had connections, so we were able to get some really good guests early on, and it just kind of blew up and took over. I want to say that one of the biggest mistakes that I made, though, in the beginning was I didn't know how to monetize. You know what I'm saying? So I was getting views, and you make money from views, but you don't make as much money as if you productize yourself, right? And so a prime example, like I think at the height of it, I think, we've done 10 million views or whatever. From 10 million views, I might have got paid, $90,000, something like that, right? But through my products and services, I've created a 7-figure business, right? Because what I started to do is, all right, bet, I can have all this attention, and based on this attention, I could just get paid off the views. Or what if I had a commercial for something that I did? And so what I wound up doing was every show, and y'all can go back right now if you go to Inside the Vault, type in Inside the Vault on YouTube and pull up a show. Right before the show starts, it's a commercial with me saying, wait. If you want to monetize yourself, and you want to write a book, text me at this number. This is my personal number. Text me right now. And what wound up happening was everybody would text that number, and then once they text that number, they would go into my funnel, right? I would teach them. So I have this thing called 4 E's, where you need an entry level product or service, an examination level product or service, an elastic level product or service, an exclusive level product or service. Entry level product or service is usually your book, your podcast, your courses. I mean, not your courses, your anything that's free or low cost. Your examination level product or service is your courses. Your elastic is like your continuity program. So your membership, and an exclusive is the one-on-ones. Everybody that would text me at that number on my show, I would then kind of find out what they want, and I would sell them a product or service based on that. And like I said, literally, it made me millions of dollars. And so while other people were chasing views and exclusive guests and things of that nature, I was very specific around who I wanted to interview and what type of people I wanted to attract to my podcast. Because the truth of the matter is, if I got 10 million people and I make less than 6 figures, but imagine if I had a $20,000 product, right? At a $20,000 product, I really only need 40 people to make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So forget trying to get 1 million people. What if I got 10,000 people? But if I get 10,000 of the right people, now those 10,000 people all I need is 40 of them to say yes to my $20,000 product, right? All I need is 400 of them to say yes to my $2,000 product. You know what I'm saying? And so that was one of the biggest mistakes that I learned early on. But now, it's something that I do.
Yeah, a lot of I'm learning that as well. Just trying to make sure I have like multiple products within the Unspoken Atlanta needs, whether it's merch, starting to do like live shows, or like a community based show. What's the other ways? Courses.
Yep.
Teach people how to do whether it's I'm trying to get into the space of teaching people how to learn how to edit.
Yeah.
So that standpoint, and also podcasting production wise, as far as all that. So I 100% agree.
Yeah.
A lot of people, that's the main thing. A lot of people, they don't really They look really it is they looking at Joe Budden. Definitely looking at Joe Budden, and they like let's get the views up. But you also got to see for the people who, if you're not Joe Budden or you're not those types, the only way you're gonna really make money is through finding other places, whether it's monetizing through merch. Like I said, I've did a couple small deals where I'm going to a restaurant that I know that's black owned, and I'm doing like I might do a 30-second commercial for them, throw it in there for like $500, $1,000, something like that, and then kind of like build off of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. And then I would give some advice as well. Just for one, be okay with making your own commercials.
Facts.
That's what we get afraid from. We don't really know. We just thinking that they gonna pick commercials on anyway. They gonna hit the skip button, but you can also make your own commercials to kind of make some more money come in, and then use that money to fund to be able to get special guests or whatever you want to spend it for. But that's definitely how you do it. I did have a couple more questions for you. I'm gonna let you go. I know you gotta go soon. If you can share some moments in your career that was significant, that impact, that negative, that kind of that you think that kind of changed my path. And I know you said earlier as far as like the blockbuster, but something even more deeper than that, as far as like that kind of got you on the right path.
Yeah, I think so I became a homeowner like really young, right? And so my wife and I, we've been together for a while, so 22 years, right? So we've been married 18 years. And I was like 21 or something like that when I met her. We bought our first home relatively young. I was 26, I think. She was 25. And because I never had access to like entrepreneurs or people who make money, I just thought that fame equals money. That if people knew me, that the money would come. And so, fast forward to 2000, like right before I turned 30, I was making six figures at the bank. And I had written my first book. And because I was writing for the magazine, because I had, connections to all hip hop, because like Hot 97 at the time, one of the biggest radio stations in New York, was featuring me. I was like, yo, I'm about to make it big. I'm about to make $1 million. And so I quit my job, at the bank. And I started going full time doing the book stuff. I think that first year I made about $60,000. And in the grander scheme of things, when you look at it, $60,000 as a first time entrepreneur might seem like a lot of money. Yeah. But when you already have a 6-figure lifestyle, it wasn't enough. Yeah. And so I remember almost going into foreclosure. Like it's the scariest thing ever. Yeah. To be popular and broke is like the most scariest thing, because everybody knows you, so they assume that you up.
You got it, yeah.
But now I'm going through foreclosure. People in my neighborhood, people looking at like, yo, what happened? Like, where you going? Blah, blah, blah. Foreclosure is public record, so people can look it up. And I think that was one of the scariest moments for me. And it was embarrassing. My daughter was 2 years old at the time. And it was embarrassing pulling up to my driveway with a sign that says for sale, not knowing how we gonna eat. A father, like married, like it was embarrassing. And then having to go out and pretend like everything is okay. You know what I'm saying? That moment in my entrepreneurship journey taught me to never rely so much on your physical labor. That was what changed everything for me. This is why I got 20 books. This is why I productize everything. Literally, if I did not put out another podcast at all, I make so much. I got over 200 episodes. So I make so much money off of residuals that just come off of views, off of book sales. Like, I've created things that does not require me to physically be here in order to make money. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. That's the only way to sustain. If your money, whether you work a 9 to 5, whether you're an entrepreneur, if your money is reliant on you having to wake up and physically do something, you've created a job for yourself. You do not have financial freedom. Financial freedom comes in when you change your relationship with money. Instead of working hard for money, money has to work hard for you. You know, and I want to say that, like me almost losing my house, we wound up not losing it because I wound up just going back to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went back to work, was able to save the home, and it, you know, it was a great part of my story. It was a lesson that I needed to learn. So even now, as an entrepreneur, I'm never just doing stuff the one time. Like anything I do is because I want to do it. Like I don't have to do it at this point. It's because I want to do it, but I also know that everything that I do feeds into something I got going on, right? Like even right now, people watching this episode, some people have never heard of me before ever in their life, right? And so not everybody, but some people are gonna go and say, "Let me check out. He got 20 books. Let me go check out what books he got." And so even me being here, and just doing what I love to do. Like I love to share my story. I love to teach. I love to connect with people. Just doing what I love to do is still going to be financially rewarding for me because I've created an ecosystem of products and services that if somebody hears me and they want to learn more information from me, they don't have to contact me. There's things out there that exist already that they could actually go back to. Yeah.
I do want to keep back to the origin of this whole channel. I kind of asked everybody at least one relationship question, just to see what they thoughts. But you married young.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how has that impacted you for the better, as far as keep you focused in along your journey as far as entrepreneurship and storytelling?
Yeah, I think a relationship with the right person is the cheat code for wealth. Period. So luckily, and it might sound crazy because I have kids now and I wouldn't wish my lifestyle on them at all. But I was sexually active very early. You know what I'm saying? I mean, grew up in the projects, you raising yourself. So I think I broke my virginity at 11, right? And I wasn't the aggressor though. It was like, it was just like homegirl was like, yo,
she was ready.
She was ready. You know what I'm saying? And so I was sexually active very, very young. So by the time I'm 21, like I think in the hood we live by dog years. By the time I'm 21, I mean I've had hundreds of partners. You get what I'm saying? Okay. And at the end of the day, all of that is out my system. You know what I'm saying? And so when I met my wife, I mean she was different. You know what I'm saying? She was like one of the first people that allowed me to look at women differently, not just as objects, because that's how we were taught. You know what I'm saying? Like your homies were the ones you talk to, the women were the ones, you know what I mean? Like you kind of, you know what I mean? So yeah, she was different, and it kind of pushed me to, I was like, man, I want to, like it's something about her. But what it also did inadvertently is it made me like, now I don't want to go to the club. Like, what am I going to club for? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to bag nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like right? So now it allowed me in my 20s actually to laser focus on success. Yeah. So while all of my other friends were out in the club, they was chasing women, I already got the woman that I'm locked in with. So now all I'm doing is locking in on work. I'm locking in on work, which is why I've had a lot of successes, right? So I'm 44 right now. At 44, I've done things that people in their 80s haven't done. You get what I'm saying? And, even when I look back at some of my friends who are now in their 40s, like locking in, or even guys I meet that in their 30s locking in, I'm like, yo, I've been there, done that, because I'm not, I wasn't, out looking for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I think, I think that's the cheat code. When you think about anybody who's made billions of dollars, even, I'm not saying what happens to them after they make the $1 billion, right? Because a lot of them divorce after that for whatever reasons, right? And I think
them got a wife though.
Yeah, but like 99% of them have a partner that was there in the garage with them, who held, who held them down, who, as they were focused, they was the support system, if you will. So I think that's a cheat code. I think that anybody out here who's really looking for success, it got to be the right person though, because the truth of the matter too is that I've seen a lot of people try to prematurely lock in with the wrong person, and it does the opposite for them from a success perspective. They were on a good trajectory, but because they locked in with the wrong person, now their life is going downhill. So it has to be the right person. But I think with the right person, that support system could really like help take your relationship and your business to the next level.
Okay. Do you have any future projects or goals that you got going on coming up soon?
Yeah, so I think right now I'm like so locked in on publishing. You know, I'm at I call this my Jordan era, right? And so I came out the game. I wore 23. I got some championships. I did a lot of amazing things in entrepreneurship. I took myself out the game a little bit, kind of calmed down, enjoyed the fruits of my labor, if you will. But I'm ready to go back in. I'm ready to go back in, wear the 4-5. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But the other piece of it though is I want to go back in with a new number. I want to get some more championships, meaning I'm gonna write some more books. I want to get some personal success, like do it for me. Yeah. But then I also want to help other people do what I've done. And so I have a lot of clients that are influencers that I'm helping them write their books. I'm helping them build their brands. I have a goal I want to help make some influencers like household names. Yeah. And so that's the next thing for me. So I've had a publishing company called One Brick Publishing. But we've been, really helping, people put out books. Yeah. And so, salute to, Coach K, who does grants, but, she launched a book called Fight Into Freedom. We got, Billionaire Barbie. She has her book. She does taxes, but she has From Felon to Fortune. Because a lot of people don't know that she did, she did some time. We have, Brooklyn Harris, Brooklyn Billionaire B, but we have a book with her, The Billionaire Mom Mindset. My brother Adrian Walton, he's a street ball legend. They used to call him A Whole Lot of Game, so he has a book out now called Whole Lot of Game. My brother Red. I helped him put out his book called Unfiltered. I'm pretty sure there's more out there, but I think ultimately, my brother Neo got a book called The Foundation.
I'm trying to get him on next, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So like he's definitely like what he has done in this entrepreneurship space. He doesn't talk about it a lot, but what he has done in the entrepreneurship space is phenomenal. Yeah. And what he's been able to do with the money he's made, but then give back is just kind of crazy. So we put that in a book. So he has a book called The Foundation. But I think ultimately my goal is that I want to continue to help people who have powerful voices. I want them to amplify their voice even more, make some more money for them. But when I watch Alex Hormozy make $100 million off of a book launch, my goal is just to help somebody sell millions of books. Mm-hmm. I'm not competing, right? And I'm not saying that I wouldn't be able to do 100 million, but that's not even my thought process right now. Mm-hmm. Like right now, I want to become the next Simon and Schuster. When you start thinking about these big publishing houses that all the celebrities and everybody go to release their books, I think Simon and Schuster is a 100-year publisher, right? I have my publishing company be 15 years. Why can't in the next 5 years, 10 years, I become the main publisher for books? But not just books, but learning how to monetize. So that's really my main goal. Is really just doing that. But then also, I got a new show that I just dropped. So I still have Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, which is doing well. That's my money mindset show. We talk to entrepreneurs. But because I've released so many books, what I didn't realize in releasing these books is that a lot of my books are behind the wall. So our brothers and sisters who are incarcerated, they got nothing but time. So a lot of them read your book. Yeah. And what I was realizing, and a lot of cats was coming home, and they would like find me, whether they'll hit me up on Instagram or they'll see me at a conference or whatever, and they would just be so grateful for the ability. They'll be like, man, I read your book while I was inside and helped me. So I wanted to be more intentional. And so my brother Jay White and I, Jay White's the king of government contracting. We started a show together called Crime Pays. And what we do is we interview formerly incarcerated men and women, and we those who are doing well, right? So now they did their time, they came home, and then now they're like killing it in whatever industry they're in.
I think I seen you do it with Finesse.
Yep. So we had Finesse on there, free Finesse. So Finesse is free.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, we had Finesse on there. We had my brother Santino on there. We had Billionaire Barbie on there. My brother Mendices is on there. Red is on there. So we have some my brother Mecca the Don is on there. So we have a lot of powerful people, right? Mecca the Don does all of the videos for people in Atlanta, right? Little Baby, you name him. He does all the videos. He's a director, but nobody knows that he had, you know what I'm saying, that he was behind the wall. And so, my goal with that also is I want to build the #1 personal development platform for formerly incarcerated men and women. So between publishing and building out the #1 personal development platform for formerly incarcerated men and women, which is my nonprofit. It's called Abundance Code. Code stands for creating opportunity despite the environment. Those are the main things I want to focus on.
How do you maintain like balancing the creativity versus the business side?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of people are afraid to. A lot of people want the limelight so much that they want to do everything themselves, not realizing that it's stifling them from being successful. For me, I only focus on what I'm good at. And I'm actually great at vision. Like I'm a great visionary, so I could visualize what needs to be done. But as far as like the operational side, the business side, I lean on the people who are good at that. You know what I'm saying? So my wife has been part of my business. It's our business, but she's been part of the business for from its inception. So she's really a wizard as it comes to finances, as it comes to strategy, and so she's been able to help there. I do have a business manager, right? So salute to my brother Mike, who is my business manager. So he's the person that helps me manage a lot of the stuff that I got going on. He helps me get deals and we negotiate stuff. And then even from an operation standpoint, I have, somebody that I work with, who helps me in operations. I got somebody who helps me with sales. And so the empire that's built isn't just, even though I'm the face and I'm the voice and people know me, but everything is done as a team. And I just lean on what people are good at because, I always say this, to make six figures, you could be a hustler and make six figures. You can hustle your way to six figures. But if you want to build a sustainable business, a 7-figure or even 8-figure business, you can't hustle your way into that. You need structure, you need systems, and as long as you focus on the systems and the structure and the team, you could scale and get to the next level. So for me, the balance just comes with me being able to vision, but then from that vision, can I delegate, right? Can I delegate to the right people to make sure that vision is executed correctly?
And then my last thing, I was just want to say, like, what's kind of keeping you? You already said some of it, but what's really keeping you motivated, though, just to keep going throughout this?
Yeah, I think
you already 20%. You really could retire, really.
1,000%. Yeah, I think honestly, the one thing I realized is like God didn't save me so that I could be comfortable, right? And what I mean by that is like I got kicked out of school. I used to fight a lot. So I got kicked out of school 4 times. I got kicked out in the 1st grade, 5th grade, 9th grade, and 10th grade. I got expelled in the 10th grade. Had to do the 10th grade over again. Probably why I didn't play basketball, because my senior year, I couldn't play because I got kicked out. And so I wound up getting a job, and that's why my life went in a different direction. I probably would have still been hooping, or trying to hoop had that not happened. But again, God had bigger plans. But what I realized was a lot of people think that their story happens to them, for them, and not that it happens to them for other people. And so what keeps me going is that I still got breath in my body, that God still got me here. And so I know that I don't have the right to hold back my story. I'm just a vessel. I don't have the right to hold it back from other people who hear my voice, who need me, right? I use this example a lot about Amazon. If you buy something from Amazon and it says that it's going to be delivered in 2 days, you expect it to be delivered in 2 days. The driver who's about to deliver your package does not have the right to pull up to your house and say, you know what, I don't feel like dropping this off. Or you know what, I don't like the way the box look. Or you know what, I don't know, why did he even order this? I'm not dropping this off. They don't have the right to do that. Because their job is to deliver the package. Even if the package is in their possession. Even if it's in their possession, they still don't have the right to hold it, to not give it to you because it's your package. And so that's a metaphor for your story. Your story is the package. Even though the story is in your possession, you don't have the right to hold that story back. You don't have the right to tell somebody, well, it's not ready yet, or I'm going to wait until I do this. Or no, you have that story, so you have to give it. So what keeps me motivated is just knowing that I was one mistake away from a felony. Like I could have, I've done so much stupid stuff that statistically I should have been dead or in jail. But again, God had grace for me, and I will never take advantage of that. I will never kick my feet up and say, yo, I'm good now, so I'm going to chill. Nah, there's still young men and women who have a similar story, right? Yeah. Single parent home, youngest of 3, grew up in the hood, raised ourselves. They still have that story. And I want to be the example to show them that you can be, do, and have anything you desire, right? I have this saying that again, we're all made in the image and likeness of God, and so we are all greatness on display. God, like that's Nigel. That's the only thing that you are put on this earth to do is to display God. It's because you're made in the image and likeness of God, and so the only way you could display God is being the greatest version of Nigel that you could ever be. The only way I can display God is being the greatest version of Ash Cash that I could ever be. Right? I'm not competing against nobody because we're all different. But if I become the greatest version of me, I'm giving the other Ash Cashes permission to be the greatest version of them. And that's what keeps me going because I know that at any moment God could be like, all right, good job. I need you now. Yeah. Right? And so if I wake up and I got breath in my body, it's go time.
It's still go time.
It's go time. Yeah.
Well, look, man, we can end here. Look, I want to tell you personally, I appreciate you for pulling up, man.
Yes,
thank you for everything.
Yes,
anytime, look, I hoop as well.
Yes,
so
sir.
I'll
pull up.
Let me know.
All right, let's go. Look, I'm gonna hit you, bro. We hoop. We get busy.
I do. I hooped in high school and college as well. So
okay,
I was able to. I still got a little bit in me, man.
All right, dope. Yeah, we're gonna get you out there.
I appreciate you, man. Listen, everybody, please make sure you follow Ash Cash. Make sure you go watch his show, The Vault. Make sure you go check that out. Check out his books. It's on Amazon. I think it's on all platforms that you can buy a book from. It's on Instagram is at Ash Cash.
I am Ash Cash.
I am Ash Cash.
Yes,
please make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Also, for merch, I got an Unspoken hoodie on. Make sure y'all go to UnspokenAtlanta.com. Get your merch. We got different hoodie sizes, colors, all colorways, everything you need. Make sure you do that. We'll gladly appreciate that. We love y'all. We'll see y'all on the next one, man. Peace.
Yes, sir. My pleasure, brother. Trying to figure out how to get money. You know what I'm saying? I think I want to say around like 15, 16 when Joe Biden and all these people did the mass incarceration thing. They wiped the OGs out of the neighborhood. People don't realize like what effect that had to us in the city because that mass incarceration took out all of our OGs. And I don't glorify the streets at all, but at the same time, there was an order in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like